Oh, look at that. It's Saturday. I'm at SM Langer. Annie's doing her exams, and there's some special offers here in bricks. The top one is mixed seafood and chief and chicken, $9.99. And the bottom one, not for me, it's nearly 2,000 pesos, but it's all meat. So I'm here, I'm going to have my blue cheese. And I'm going to have my fish provençal. Annie and myself came in here about a week and a half ago, and we didn't stop. We got up and we left because there was a rude member of staff. So I don't do rude, especially when I'm paying. So anyway, see the hat, stop for a chat. But the manager just spoke to me about why I turned around and we got up and we left. So I just explained to him that it was a very abrupt way of trying to play it from order. Okay, so it's 2:30 on a Saturday. As I said, it's very busy. I placed a vlog yesterday about paperwork back to the UK. And 3 subscribers I bumped in today. They've all turned around and said that this year, one in Australia, well, one was in Australia, 2 were Brits. They've had the same issues that I've actually had regarding proof of life documentation for the pension, bank accounts being frozen when addresses are no longer in your name. So if you have a property in the UK and the electoral register and the property is registered as Smith and your name is, I don't know, Trump, if it doesn't marry and there's no electoral register, tell them up for you, what happens is your account gets frozen. There we go, Trump 0. Your account gets suspended or frozen to force you to turn around and contact either the HMRC or the DWP or your bank because they think you are money laundering. And this comes from the law changes that happened in January this year. Yeah, so the laws would change so that you are only allowed to take a certain amount of money out of a UK bank, and that's happened in Australia, but it's also happening in Europe. And they want to turn around and control what you're doing with your money. So the guy was explaining to me that what happened to him. He had to go back to the UK to resolve the issue, and it took him about a month because when you're in the UK, the electoral register, you've got to turn around and remove yourself from the electoral register because that still gets counted as a voting right, and they still issue, and you're not allowed to vote overseas unless you turn around and request it to your address overseas, not to an address in the UK. So that's good to hear, really. It's a bit stressful for people like me or people that no longer live in the UK, but they still have a vested interest in finances because you can't move it anymore easily. You can't just go and electronically transfer it all out of a bank because all they want to do is charge you for the transfer, charge you tax on the money that's being used. When you get to the country you're living in, they want you to declare where it comes from. As it's unearned income, they'll turn around and tax you in the local rate. We've all got to pay tax. Do we like it? No. But it has to happen. Anyway, I'm gonna have my blue cheese salad, and I'm gonna have my fish, and I'm gonna have my Coke Zero. So anyway, I did say that I was going to give an update. What I have noticed in the last 4 or 5 weeks regarding the petrol increases is that malls are busier. A lot more people in the malls, but they're not spending. They're coming to the malls to turn around and do chica. the delivery schedules at Mals has changed. So restaurants and coffee shops and sports places, they don't have all the stock on the menu because the trucks aren't coming from Manila or Cebu, wherever they're coming into Davao. And I think it's going to be the same. The priority is Manila, get the deliveries into Manila, get the deliveries into Cebu. But here, as I said, this place, Bricks, had 9 items on their menu last week not available, which is quite key really, isn't it? Petrol prices went down last week to 88, now they're back up to 93. Gasoline was at 165 last week, now it's at 145. Kerosene, I know what you do with kerosene, but that's the same price as diesel, and that's that. Taxi drivers are not putting on their AC while they're driving. The good thing for me is taxi drivers aren't driving like nutters. They're driving sedately to conserve their fuel consumption, because they get their rental agreement, then they get their petrol price. So their rental agreement on a taxi is about 1,300 peso a day. Their gasoline price was around 1,200, now it's around 2,000. And the taxis are limiting their range to 300 kilometers a day in Davao. I wanted to go in a taxi to Calinan the other day to see somebody, and the taxi driver declined. Not because he didn't want the business, it's because he didn't know how much it would cost to get there. But the big one was coming back. At the time I was going, the traffic coming into Davao would be bigger and it would take him longer, which meant he would use more fuel than was viable for the metered fare. So some taxi drivers are declining to turn around and go to Toril, Calinan, and further out into the provinces, which I've noticed, the Magar. So I just keep it in town now and in banks, they're still doing well, but they're not doing as many transfers as normal. SM Ecoland is very, very busy. Jeepney, I find jeepneys on a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday is very, very busy. On a Saturday, extremely busy. On Sunday, not so busy. And I think that there's no point travelling Sunday when there's not a lot of people out. They're all staying at home and they're all keeping quiet, keeping a low profile. Supermarket shopping, I went out the other day and I bought 4 bags of stuff, no meat and no toiletries. It was virtually 1,000 peso a bag. So prices have gone up in the supermarket. And imported rice, Thai rice and Vietnamese rice and Indian rice, basmati, they're not prevalent. There's a lot of cheap rice on the shelves, but it's not cheap, it's still expensive. It's the same equivalent as jasmine rice or basmati rice, around 400 for 5 kilos, which I found. Eggs, and I was talking to somebody, Andrew, the other day, eggs in the province are around about 7 to 8 peso an egg. Here they're 15 to 18 now. Yogurts used to be around 38, now they're at 58. Milk in the Tetra Pak used to be 99, now it's 129. Cereals have gone up, they used to be around 239 for a 500 gram box, now they're not 239, they're 449. Chicken, it's gone up in price by about 20 peso a kilo. Pork has gone up by about 12 peso a kilo. Apples used to be around 25 peso each, now they're 38 peso each. Avocados used to be around 20 peso each, now they're at 40 peso each. So yeah, water, the 20 litre bottles of water, some of it was at 56 going to 90 for the for the distilled and the posh water. Now that's the bigger 6 litre is over 100 peso, and the bonus water is floating around 68 peso. So it's gone up about 10 for the cheaper water and about 15 to 18 for the more expensive water. Bread, same price, no issues on that. Coffee prices used to be 150 to 160, and that for a coffee latte, hot or cold. Now that's about 184, 185. I've just bought 1 cake today downstairs, 3 coffees, 850 peso. That's 10 quid, or that is $12. Okay. I was talking to some friends today. When I came here in 2018, there was a couple of properties. One was in South Pacific, Golf and Leisure. It was a 4-bedroom detached house. It was 8.25 million peso in 2018. Today in 2026, it's on the market for 37 million. Yeah, same house, same plot, same location, no houses built around it. It's on its own, but it's gone up by 25 million. That's a lot of money, isn't it? That is a lot of money. There's been a change to taxation law in DAVAO VIzyY. If houses come to the end of the year and they pay their BR tax here on their property, if they don't pay their BIR tax, they get 3 months grace. After 3 months grace, then DAVAO VIzyY has announced that they will actually foreclose on the properties, take the properties away from the owners and sell them to turn around and get back the owed tax. Wow, that's big. And I was talking to some Australian friends I got downstairs, and he's verified that actually happened to him with his property on Samo. And when I was on Marketplace this morning, Saturday morning, 2024, or 25, sorry, I noticed that there is a massive increase in property on Samo. And these are old school properties that have a 2 or 3 bedroom detached property with 1,000 square meters of land for around 6 million, 7 million. I looked at a property in Limoa on Samo about a year ago, and the property I looked at there was at 7, and it's still at 7, 500,000 square meters detached. So it looks like people own properties but don't pay the tax or update their tax, and they only update their tax when the property is being sold, and the tax is then added to the value of what the price of the property is, pushing property prices higher. Maybe that's the issue with the South Pacific house that moved from 8.25 million to 37. Maybe they owe 7 million in tax. Don't know. But crazy world. Anyway, I am going to enjoy my lunch. It's going to be delivered in a minute. It's getting quieter here today. It's 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Like, share, subscribe. Any questions? Ask me. See the hat? Stop for a chat. Take care. Wow, look at that. I really like this blue cheese, apple, cranberry, walnut, carrot salad. That is all mine. There's my Coke Zero. There's my additional blue cheese dressing. Blue cheese dressing in here is actually made from blue cheese and a yogurt, they tell me. Might come out of a container, I don't know. But it's got little cranberries. Look at that. Oh, look at that cranberries. Oh, yum. I'm waiting for my fish. It's going to go here with my mashed potato. But I'm going to enjoy the salad. There's my white fish provençal, my mashed potato, and there's my full meal. I must say, the food at Brit bricks in SM Langen and at SM Ecoland. Very, very, very nice. Look at that. Enjoy. I will. Food is so good, even the manager eats here. SM Langen, 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Very, very, very busy. The aircon's on, it's getting nice and cool. People are here for graduation, school and lessons. Cinema looks good. On the right here they got this registration for the fun run tomorrow. There we go. Fun run tomorrow. 5, 10 or 20. There's the start times. Too hot for me to handle. Right, I've had my lunch. I've seen George. I've seen my Italian friends. Seen my Australian friends. I've had a coffee. I've had a cake. The escalator of life. I used to buy cookies in French bakery, but they're not very nice anymore. They're not crispy. They're not chewy. They're doughy, soft, like they've not been cooked properly. Wow, look, French bakery pastries. I used to have the cookies from here, but they're horrible. Walnut bread is very, very nice, but I've already got a loaf of walnut bread. There's my Australian friends. They've just come back from Oz. They're the ones that were explaining to me about the paperwork, because I need to get what I got to do in the UK, they've had to do in Australia, because all this digital nonsense is restricting what people do, their freedom of making a choice. Yeah. You have to make these declarations to the tax man, and you have to make the declaration to the pension people, and you have to make these declarations to banks and immigration. I would like a little bit of freedom in my life, you know. I'm not doing anything illegal, so why have I got to try and prove that I'm not doing anything illegal? Right, I'm going outside the door, get a taxi, going home.